second, well, actually, I guess it's the fifth community meeting we've had. We've had three at Superior Grill, and this will be the second one we've had outside of Munroe Falls. So thanks for coming. Hope we can answer your questions tonight. Hope we can address any issues that we have or that you have. The format will be we're going to have an introduction by Russ, Dr. Johns. He has some handouts for those of you that have not seen them before. He wants to go over some of those things. We have a student who's going to speak tonight as well. And I'm sorry, I have a really short memory in my advancing years. You're a senior this year?
I'm a junior.
Junior this year, okay. Well, she's going to speak to us after that. Then we'll open it up for discussion. Just as a cursory straw poll, how many, if the levy were on the, if you were voting tonight, would vote for the levy? Okay, show of hands. Okay. And obviously, I'm assuming the others are either not convinced or not voting for it. I guess at the end of the evening, it would be really nice if you feel like it, those of you that didn't raise your hand, letting us know what it would take you or what it would take us to convince you to vote for the levy. We hear a lot of, well, I don't like this, and I don't like that, this should be changed, that should be changed. Bottom line is, what would it take? So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and get started. Catherine Balker is going to be here. She's on her way. She's the chair, or the treasurer, chief financial officer for the district. Karen Wright, who the school board, is here. Karen's sitting right there. And of course, Dr. Jones. We have Chet Feldman is here. And I think that's it for right now. Is John Damon coming? Yeah. Okay. John Damon from the Transportation Department, Transportation Supervisor, will be here as well to answer any questions you may have regarding transportation issues. Dr. Jones.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks everyone for taking some time tonight to be here. Certainly appreciate that. We do want to have a chance to answer your questions. I'm going to hand out something that I think many of you have seen. Well, that's good.
We have
Mrs. Barton is here, our treasurer.
Well, I'm glad that many of you actually have seen this before, and that's an important piece of the story, because I think this really does tell the story. I got here in February of 2006, and we looked at the financial forecast. We could see that there was a big deficit coming down the road. And we've got a responsibility as leaders in the school district to deal with that, because we have 5,500 kids to educate. And it's our job, number one, to make sure that we provide the best possible education we can for them. In school districts, we do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's nutty stuff happening. There's a football game tomorrow night. There's lacrosse, and homecoming, and there's Pat Matthews watching. And there's, Senate Bill 5, and there's stuff in the newspaper, all kinds of things going on. But what we need to do, what I keep saying, is we have to focus on what we are all about. We are about kids learning. That's what schools are about. And the founding fathers of Stow and Munroe Falls got together in a room like this, and somebody said, let's have a school district. There was somebody raised their hand and said, why? Two examples right here. It's for children. Children learn. We as adults have a responsibility to make sure that we provide for them what others provided for us. And some
sincerely do. We provide the opportunities for them to take the next step as they move forward in their lives, whether it be college, the military, jobs, community school, whatever they choose to do, we need to help prepare them for their future. So we're all old and gray, and we're sitting needing someone to take care of us. They're the ones that we're going to need to counter. So, back to the story. We recognized this financial situation, so we have been on the ballot 6 times since 2006. We had earned income tax, we had a couple small levies, we had a big levy, right now with turf and all-day kindergarten. Who would have thought of all-day kindergarten? We also were on the ballot in August, you of course know. Along the way, we have been making reductions. As Mrs. Bogger will probably articulate about, we've had no new dollars in the school district locally since 2002. So the only way your household income and mine, if the income is flat and your expenses are going up, those lines cross at some point. So we've been keeping those lines from crossing by making reductions. So again, there are 2 columns, cost savings. These are all reductions that we have made over the last 5 years. The cost savings column indicates the actual dollar amount. So if I give you an example, the assistant superintendent, when I first got here, Mr. Frisbee, who was the assistant superintendent, great man. I had his children in school when I was a principal at Talmadge High School, fine family, wonderful administrator. He had retired, and he was not replaced. So his salary and benefits, approximately $120,000. So that's a set figure of $120,000. We have still not replaced him. So if we would have replaced him, we would have spent another $600,000 in that particular spot. As you keep moving through, you see there were supplemental positions eliminated. Besides Mr. Frisbee, we also eliminated the business manager, one of the assistant principals at the high school, the assistant maintenance supervisor. That's 4 administrators and a team of about 30. Eliminated about 12, 13% of the administrative staff. We're counting today, I think we had, checked, 37 possessions, something like that, about 25 classified positions, roughly. We implemented pay to participate. Then we increased that. We eliminated high school busing. Our mantra has been, let's try to keep it out of the classroom so we don't impact our students. A lot of reductions, and we get to the last page here. You can see that the actual cost savings to the taxpayers has been $7.9 million. The cumulative column means if we would have done nothing and kept all of this stuff, we would have cost the taxpayers an additional $15.5 million. What's not in here are our recent negotiations with our employees who have recognized our financial situation. They've stepped up, understand that. All of our classified and certified, as well as administrators, have agreed to a 0 base freeze for the next 2 years. No step increases based on longevity. They've also agreed to making their health care contribution from 5% to 10 this year and then 15 next year. So they have certainly stepped up to the plate, and that's not indicated on here. So that number, that 7.9, is actually higher. So when I got here in 06, someone told me, Russ, if you want to pass a levy in this community, cut the bus. And I said, we're not doing that until we look internally at ourselves in terms of how we can reduce our costs, how we can become more lean, how we can not get to where we are right now until we've done these kind of things. This has not been seen, I don't think, my perception, from the community a great deal. The community has seen, and mostly high school parents have seen pay to participate in high school busing, but they haven't seen all this stuff. So I feel real good about coming to the community now and saying, look, we have done what we can do. It's been 10 years. It's time for us to invest in our children, in our school district, and our community. It's time. I'm going to stop right there.
Actually, I was going to ask Chet, first of all, how many people have already heard us or attended one of these meetings? Raise your hand. Okay, so you all heard what we have to say. And so I think what's most important to do at this point is let's talk about what we can do for the future, and maybe Chet, you have a few things to say if you have to, and then we'll take it.
I mean, what's going to happen if
That is the next step, and then what kind of things we all need to do to help move this?
well, there are a couple things that we can do. We're compiling a big volunteer list right now. Some major dates that we have, obviously one tomorrow night being homecoming. We have not only a homecoming parade, we have decorating of cars prior to that. We also have a big barbecue that we are doing. $6, you get a great big meal and show your support. And then we're going to cheer on, hopefully, to a victory for our homecoming. So that's tomorrow night. Another sort of support is we're going to have a rally at the end of our last football game, Friday, October 28th. We play Cuyahoga Falls. It's a big rival. Usually it's a packed house in there. And when the game is done, we're going to have the band probably speak, or I'm sorry, perform for us. And we're going to hold a rally to sort of kind of get our momentum going towards November 8th. And also we have a lit drop going on November 5th. We need as many volunteers as we can for that to pair you up with some of our students who are going to go down door to door. We also have a group of volunteers here who are going to make phone calls. So if you do volunteer for that, you can have 10 people here. You get these 10 done on your own time. So there are many things that our community can do to help us out and kind of rally together.
One of the things we're doing, so I don't know if you were in the meetings that we talked about this, but because it's November, it's such a big election with city council, the board, we are not going to do signs. So in lieu of signs, what we're going to do is get together some ribbons, and I think that is it the Voices for Kids that are working on that. There are school colors, and they'll have SOS on it. That's our theme. Save our school. No, they won't have SOS.
We're saving money.
Okay.
That was too expensive, we're saving money, but they're still going to be burgers.
Okay, so to wrap on your mailboxes, you will get with the literature a poster that you can open up. You can put it in your car windows, you can put it in your windows and on your front porch and turn the light on to show support for the schools. This is really a time for the community to come together to help us get through this tough time. And with that being said, would you girls care to talk about your thoughts about what you've heard and what you understand about what situation the school district is in?
All right, I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Katie Mansky. I'm a junior at Stow High School. I play on the soccer team as well as I'm in the club, ski club, and junior executive committee. The levy we need, just as from a student's perspective, without passing it would just be kind of unfortunate for our student body, and not only the high school but at the elementary level, where closing the schools, those builders club, which our people will work with, that won't be available to them. And it's really just unfortunate we can't play such a small percentage of for taxes for our community, for some families. It's a big impact as it goes up. And sports are kind of an outlet for a lot of students, and they're important. They teach time management in your life, and the struggle without them is challenging for a lot of students to have to let that go. So,
If I could ask you a question. You're a junior. You haven't applied for colleges yet.
no, I'm looking into colleges now, but
Would you be inclined to apply for scholarships?
yeah.
I guess the question is, what impact would closing the schools early have on the activities that you would use for scholarship applications, which you may not be able to answer later.
For the key club, that would be a major selling point on my application, definitely. And I'm looking to get some of those leadership scholarships and get some money for that. As I also would like to go into like an athletic scholarship, and I mean it's challenging that aspect of schools. Just not only, as you say now, that doesn't just affect me in high school, it's going to affect me at the collegiate level and later in life.
Do you want to share your thoughts?
I'm Grace Saylor. I go to Kempton. I'm a 7th grader, and I play the violin for the orchestra, and I also play the violin for the Stow Youth Symphony. If the levy does not pass, our concerts would have to be moved to a different place because we use the high school for our All-City, which is, we have one in December, and then we have one in May, and that's where we have the Lakeview, Kempton, and Stow High School play. For Stow Youth, we practice at the music room at Lakeview, and we would have to move that practice somewhere else if it doesn't pass. And I'm also in the Kempton Choir, and our concerts would have to be moved. And I really want to get a music scholarship, so that's why I've been playing the violin and being in choir.
Thank you. Thank you to both of you for
You're a chess teacher, and you've been speaking in a number of these, and you have a couple comments and then other questions.
Sure. One thing just to focus on our students. When I was getting my master's at Ohio University, I worked in our admissions office. And one of the major things that we looked into was people who were applying to come into school. What did they do? The more they enlisted and the more active they were, obviously the more that our university wanted. Well, that's going to maybe really impact our kids. You know, I mean, they're going to drop off and maybe not be a part of football, not be a part of student council, not be a part of the journalism program. Who knows? Okay, but you know, for them, it is really, you know, they don't have the opportunity as everyone else does. And that's kind of a big point here that I want to make sure. A couple other points here is that, you know, a $100,000 home would cost $16.77 per month. I mean, it's one less pizza. So, I mean, I think, you know, if we look at it in perspectives like that, in my opinion, we've trimmed all the fat. We have, now there's no choice for us. Now we're going to have to go into the classroom. And so, you know, that's kind of where we're at. And that's kind of where we want to ask for help, you know, and rally it together, get the community going together.
And I think this is really fantastic if you look at the product that the school district is responsible for. Look at how fantastic, not just a high schooler, but a 7th grader coming here, taking time out of a beautiful evening to make sure that everybody understands the impact and how important this is to them. And if you would join me in a round of applause, I think and really, I think for a 7th grader, this is huge, huge. The students in our buildings today are very, very responsible for our retirement days. And as a famous person, just up the room, mentioned, He wants all of our kids to get out there and get great paying jobs to help Social Security. They will pay into Social Security and it will help all of our retirement. So there is, you know, it's that spiral we're in a bad economy and it's going down. If we can maintain where we're at, keep the largest employer in Stow functioning and employable, and then they have disposable income to go out into their community and buy things, it will create jobs, which will start that spiral to move back up again. That is the only way we're going to recover our economy. So that plus our future generations, this levy is very critical. So are there any questions that we can answer or any items that you want to discuss or yes?
I got this in the mail last week or earlier this week, I can't remember when. Who did it go to? Who did it?
All parents.
Parents. So are we sending this to the other people in the district that are still voting on this, but maybe don't have kids in the schools?
We're not sending it to every single household, is that what you mean?
Yeah. My question is, are we going to let them know about these things in some way? Are we going to put this in a newspaper? Are we going to do something so that somebody knows that those people also?
And we're putting more in,
Right.
so.
We are sending a mailer, I think Kathy referenced it, to every household, describing some of the reductions that will be coming. We also have an SOS button on the district website that we keep trying to get people to go to, because it has a number of links that has that. Press release when the employees took a pay freeze, certified, classified administrators, and so on. A link to the treasurer's webpage that has all kinds of financial information, 5-year forecast, our comparison with Summit County schools, how good we look.
The reason I ask that is the naysayers always seem to go back to what were the cuts. And I know for a fact a few of them that don't have kids in school anymore, so I just was making sure that they're going to see these numbers too, because I would hope telling us as parents that we're going to vote for it anyway. Hopefully every parent will, but I just wanted to make sure we're telling these numbers in this paper to those people that don't have kids.
In these meetings, I've heard that a lot. People know this. People know what you guys have done. So that's pretty much our challenge. And we're going to have a couple ads in the century, and we're going to try to get those reductions out there so people can see what they're doing.
We're also putting it on our websites as well. We're working on that as we speak. So that information, there will be a plethora of ways for people to get that information. Websites, papers.
Is that on these? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's on the Stow Munroe Falls Schools website. I believe it's also, there's a link from 4SMF Kids as well.
It's just a matter of getting that out to them and them taking the time to get on the computer to click that.
And that's a great suggestion.
Do we have the ability to, if we do door knocking, to scan this with people?
We're doing that.
Okay.
We're going to wait a little bit closer to November 8th.
Are you interested in helping?
I don't know that we were going to be handing that out.
Yeah.
Before you leave.
Another suggestion that we have gleaned from our meetings is that we keep hearing the same questions. So we're setting up a frequently asked question page, and we're putting those frequently asked questions with the responses out there. So if I'm getting emails from people and they're asking questions, you will see those questions and answers also put up there. So that will be another. We are seeming to get a lot of the same questions due to misinformation that's out there. So.
Good question here.
What I'm concerned about, same thing that you are, even not only parents and non-parents, but the community that really don't decide. No, really. I just sign a disclaimer like my kids, so yeah, no pictures. Sorry. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. But no, I'm concerned about people who aren't parents who, I mean, I'm standing in line family video, I'm using my 3-foot rule that I use in my business. You talk to anyone that's in your 3-foot rule. I have at least 8 people that I have respectfully asked for their vote on November 8th for the school district. I suggested to everyone, I mean, I'm in line in Subway, and I talked to somebody who just had a baby last week, and he said, heck yeah, I'm voting for the levy. And he said, and I hope someday my daughter's going, you know, who just was born, going to this district, and that my wife someday will get a job in this district. And I said, okay, good, so I'm up to 8. I'm going for
That's what we need.
Yeah, but what I'm concerned about is, okay, are we doing like full page ads or what communication? Because a little article is not going to get, I'm just saying, a little article is not going to get the people who are either parents or not parents. I know the website is awesome, but my in-laws, they live in Stow, they're not going to think, oh, I think I should go to the Stow district website. Parents will. Parents want to read that maybe. But the paper, even though I don't really care for the Stow Century as much as I used to, the paper is the best avenue, in my opinion, to get that out.
Our only real constraint is money.
Oh, yeah, I'll pay for a page. There you go.
Donation.
She'll pay for a page. I'm serious. I mean, I'm serious. Debbie, listen, there you go. I'm serious. I know it's expensive. I was a realtor. Ads are expensive.
The levy committee has raised the money. It's the only money we can use for the campaign. We've raised enough money for 2 drops, or well, I guess a mailer, and then also a drop, a door-knob hanger, and then also 2 full-page ads, some rally things, and some other stuff. That pretty much takes the money that we have right now. Am I correct?
We don't have enough of it yet.
Yeah.
And do you have other ideas to raise more money for the levy campaign?
We need, yeah, there's the ads at $1,300 or $1,800.
Tomorrow night, bring those 8 people to the high school for the barbecue. It's $5 a head. $6.
$6 for dinner, come.
Yeah, come join us.
But I mean, seriously, if that's $6, are you making all $6? Okay, good.
I think we had the food donated. And we've also been very fortunate. We've had a number of very generous donations from corporate sponsors and from individuals as well.
Right, that's great.
And that's been a tremendous help. So if you're interested,
Right,
Yeah,
and
well,
you
We don't have enough right now.
well, I'm a member of the chamber, and I'm thinking, if you haven't already gone to the next meeting, stop in.
shekels,
And,
the shekels work.
yes, I mean, I'm serious, go in and talk to them and ask for corporate sponsors to pay for these ads. You'll have some, I'm sure. There's a lot of parents there.
Please.
Are there any local businesses that are supporting the levy that would allow like a board to be put up with all, a big poster board with all that information? I mean, we talked about the voter registration with Dr. Martucci at Target, at Giant Eagle, even having students, you know, pass them, if legally they were let, they would be agreeable.
Yeah,
Some
so that's
smaller
what
businesses would definitely be.
Triangle, just like Girl Scout cookies.
And Target has done a lot. Target has done a lot for student, or for the schools, right? They have a relationship with the schools. They do fund, or they donate a certain amount. So I don't know if they're agreeable to any working with us.
Do you know any of the other managers?
See, that's the key, to know someone.
Does
They're willing to talk about it.
Right.
They'll get us into Acme.
Acme, Jones, like for sure.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He'll get us.
Marcos has done fundraisers with the Stow schools this year. El Chino's has in the past.
That's another one.
You know, I mean, I know.
You guys, we'll keep it on the loop.
He keeps us on track.
Everything everybody
We have to have it.
says is important. Everybody says it is important, so please, go ahead.
I mean, that was it. But I would just think that some local businesses would support.
And a lot of them have. And the other constraint we have are volunteers that have time typically during the day to make those contacts. I mean, we have a lot of business contacts. We can make those contacts, but I mean, all of us, all the volunteers also have those jobs or whatever. So,
I mean, if you have other ideas, why don't you send an email to Mike or Ross or anybody?
I guarantee you, Chet's food is volunteer. Chet's volunteer coordinator. Any of us will take your name and email address. You will receive an email within, I'd say, the next 7 to 10 days, maybe outlining the volunteer opportunities that you need and the types of things that you need to have done. That hasn't happened yet. Still, it's a little bit early, but it's not too early to get started. Am I correct, Chad? Are you?
Yes, no, absolutely correct. We have a list, we're gonna make it all in one email, we're gonna list everything that we can do as a volunteer of what you can do to help. And then it may come down where literally we assign you to do something, or if you absolutely don't want to do that, you can have 3 or 4 other options.
We'll not turn you away.
Right, that's coming. On the media outlets, you know, we do have our website, we are going to the paper. I mean, if we can get more donations to do another paper one, outstanding. We're not quite there getting the donations. You know, what else would you suggest for us to get it out? We're speaking at every...
Well, I know mailings are an absolute fortune. I mean, they really are, so if you get any, I know, the corporate sponsors can help you pay for those, like you were asking if they went just for parents or, you know, the rest of the community, because a lot of the community, the 2 people I talked to at Family Video, by the way, they were renters, just moved from Cutter Falls, and they were renters. I'm like, go to the renters, it doesn't affect them. Go to the poll and vote yes.
Did you have a registration form?
Right, I know.
Keep that in your back pocket.
October what, 11th, what's the date?
The 11th, right in your back pocket.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, the couple things that I see are renters, that you can really get into some of the apartments or whatever, and ask them to go and vote. And then also, the already graduates that are from 18, even 19, 18 to 23. I mean, those people are sitting there going, I love Stow, you know, and their parents hopefully are still here, and some of their siblings are still here. You know,
We do have a challenge with the mailers because this November has so many issues.
right, it's almost like a
yeah.
over the head.
What about Tony?
We had a question.
Yeah, wasn't so much a question, it was actually a comment. I think one of the things I hear over and over again as arguments is this is the right thing to do for kids. And as a Dean of Education at Kent State, I'm certainly supportive of this area and all those things. But I also think that there's an economic argument to be made that I haven't heard as clearly. I mean, the fact is, all the research will indicate quality schools need higher housing values. And so you just talked about the investment I would have to make. I guarantee you I will get that investment back and more if we continue to support the schools when I move out. So whatever that is, whenever that house is sold, I want to make all that money back. So to me, this is just a smart thing. Not just the right thing, it's a smart economic decision to make.
There are a large number of people that would not agree, and that's what we're fighting right now.
Yeah, but I think we need to make that point that, again, there's plenty of research out there that indicate that.
We know that.
Yeah.
Just try to get that point across.
And I did point that out today on Stow Patch and got blasted.
What is their argument?
That's me. Yeah, I'm Christy Brown Cheese. I'm an irresponsible parent, and I don't know how children are created. I mean, I have 2, but I don't know where they come from. Yeah. I mean, it's very irritating to me. I graduated from Stow in '95 without a. Trying not to be upset, but.
That's all right.
Without some of the programs that I got to use in the high school, I would not be in my career right now. I'm fortunate that I get to work from home. I'm fortunate that I get to make sure my kids get safely on a bus. But I also know that I've seen cars in my neighborhood stop while my kids are at the bus stop and stop and talk to them. I don't want my kids walking to school. I don't think that a parent who has to work to support their kids, or both parents who work. You know, my husband has to be to work in Solon, and I do have to work, and to have to try and get him and his brother to Echo Hills at 9 o'clock, okay, there goes Stow Road and there goes Fish Creek. So if you're in that vicinity and you have to drive to that vicinity, don't drive. You're not going to be able to get through. You're going to have hundreds of cars in both of those parking lots jammed. It's bad now. It's bad now. And yeah, I mean, one person said to me on Stow Patch, well, would you give your $16.77? Heck yeah. I'm on the PTA. I go to their school. They go to Kent State. His class was fortunate enough to go to Kent State last year. He's going again this year to Kent State for their AT&T lab. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
It's a no-brainer for so many of us, but the problem is, what is your big consensus at even these community meetings? What are people saying their big beef is? How it was spent in the past or whatever?
We're not getting a lot of
We're
things.
not
We're getting questions about
how to help.
clarify the finances, and Catherine's done a wonderful job with that.
I think where we see it
How we
is,
do a better job of getting the word out.
I think where you see it is in social media.
Online is bad.
I think what's really bad is we're talking about an issue that involves the whole community. And what's happening are people get behind a keyboard and they get really brave. And then they get mean. And it's really sad because it gets personal and it's not personal.
They don't even have the right information.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, most of the stuff online is not accurate.
accurate.
But if you start answering it back,
They attack me
They'll attack
personally.
you.
I mean, I answer with facts and you attack me. I mean, that to me, that doesn't make sense, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'm in this school. I mean, I have a job, you know, my husband has a job. We moved back here from Indiana. We're here for a reason. I mean, yeah, we could have lived in Pug Falls and paid cheaper taxes. We could live in Akron. I don't want my kids in that environment. I chose here because I know it.
We need you to go out and be a
Actually, it's
spokesperson
false
for us.
fire. False fire.
Yeah, you are hired.
Yeah, you also have like this much land.
Well,
But
and
we need you to go out and
I think that it is important, the economy point that you make. You're talking about a $200 investment to get tens of thousands of dollars when you turn around and resell it. Today, your return on your money, you can't even scratch the surface. So, you know, it's a value judgment as well. Education is a value. And unfortunately, there are people in our society that don't value education. And if you think about it, if you keep them dumbed down, you can control people. And if you keep them educated and they can think for themselves and they make good decisions, again, they're going to be making decisions about how we're handled during our retirement years. And you know what? I want those kids really bright.
I think that's a great point. Why don't you write a letter to the editor saying that? Or have someone write it on your behalf if you're not allowed.
That's right, you can't say that.
No, but that's a great point. Social media, the 4S&M kids, have you been there? And Lisa.
Yes.
Yes, Power.
Yes.
You're doing that too.
That's a friendly site there.
Yes, we have somebody here taping us, so maybe they would put this
Yeah,
up on
put the tape
YouTube
on.
and help our cause get that message out, because this is so important. This is a critical time for not just our school district in the state of Ohio, but school districts throughout our nation. This is a critical time in our society. Our economy is in the toilet, and we really have to figure out how to start paying forward to get ourselves out of this. And it's going to take the whole community. It's not just going to be 30 people in a room. It takes the whole community. So we have to get out there and shake the bushes.
Well, I think the other thing that people don't realize is, I mean, they say, oh, well, it's the board. We don't like the board. We don't like this. They're not being transparent. Okay, that's fine. But part of the reason that this levy is here is because of what's going on in Columbus.
Exactly.
Budgets were all cut. Everybody lives on a budget. Their budgets were cut, so now our budgets are affected. So, yeah, there hasn't been any new money. And the reason that this is needed is because of those budget pressures. I mean, it really has nothing to do with, it has a lot to do with what the cuts have already been made, but now we're further limited.
There's an interesting little factoid for you, is the new money that was voted in 2002, that's 9 years ago, is now worth, every dollar we got back, is now worth 72 cents, because of inflation.
And our expenses have not reduced. You know, we've held them down. When people say that about the board, this is what's so critical about this. Do you know how difficult these decisions are? To be sitting in administration and with this board and having to go through this is grueling, and we hated it. And we've been doing it for years. This new board was voted in 4 years ago, and they have done their job. They have done their job. They've done community engagement. We went on the ballot for 2 years to get input from the community. What do you want your school district to look like? And we followed through with those decisions, and they were tough decisions, and we continue to do that. So I think what it is it's that value judgment again, and that, you know, the keyboard gives us, it empowers us a lot. And it's easy to say the board is to your wonderful. That superintendent, what does he know?
About the treasurer.
The guy's a PhD. PhD. He's a teacher, he's principal, superintendent, how many years now? A parent, a coach. And what he knows is academics. What we know about him is since he's been here, we have been excellent. We have had the highest rating every year since he's been on board. So the problem is what? You know, the board is bad. What? If this were put into millage, in order for us to be flush today, if we did not do this, it would have cost this community over 15 mils. We're asking for 6.5. That's a good board. And we have done a really good job.
One of the things, and what I'm hearing, I hear what you're saying about the negativity on the website. Lisa, we've talked about this, that, you know, that voice was out there, and I think there's the extreme that are never going to go for the levy. A lot of the parents that are going to vote, and there's people in the middle that are just, you know, this information. And I think that voice was very loud. And I think that there's been some good, you know, groups that have started to, you guys have done a very good job, Lisa, you've done a good job, start to talk. And I think there is some sway. And I think what you said, Deb, made a good point. If we all just start talking, which one is it? I'm talking, sorry. I mean, I like that. I think that's how the movement gets started. Right. We're all starting to say things, and then the people who are in the middle don't want to be part of that negativity. Because it's awful. It's just mean and nasty and ridiculous. And I think we're gaining momentum. And so I think we're on a good track. What I heard you say is, when my husband said the thing about the housing value, please clarify what they're saying, because I know that what he's got is based on research. And so when I talk, I want to be able to make some valid points. So those who maybe want to listen,
We should get that information.
What are they saying? What's the argument? That an investment in schools is not going to raise their housing value?
That's what they said to me.
But what is that based on? What do you, I mean, is there
Theirs is based on you talk to any
Your teachers are still there, you're gonna get the same, that's what they're saying, you're gonna get the same education, no matter what.
and that's false, because the next step is the classroom. I mean, that's all we have to go, you know. But I mean, you talk to any realtor in town, and the first thing they have at the open houses, all the information about the schools. You know, that sells the house, so.
And you know, we moved into this neighborhood 3 years ago, and we picked a neighborhood that we knew our housing value was good, and we picked it. We really did. And my husband does research in this field, and we picked Stow because we liked the schools. We could have gone anywhere. And you have an administrator at Kent State. We just moved into the neighborhood, and when he was talking about the levy, he said, "That's a shame. I picked this neighborhood because, or this community because of the schools." I know the Kent State football coach just moved into Stow. I can bet you that the neighborhood and the schools had something to do with why his kid goes to Lakeview. So there are people within this community that pick it because of the schools, and I think that to keep talking about that and keep reminding that.
Well, but I think what's going to work is the grassroots efforts that you are doing, and Christy will do. I think we have our parents now that are very concerned that their students are not going to have an excellent education. And so it's up to you. I mean, we can have these meetings, right, but we can't pull people in. Right. We need that army behind us. By the way, Bowling Science was the other one. Tomorrow at Woodland, they're painting cars.
On that note, it didn't dawn, even though I knew all the activities were going to be canceled. Our children play sports through Stow Rec, and it did not dawn on me until the other co-founder of this of your website said, "Tammy." Pointed out that, well, you know, basketball's canceled.
It's not canceled.
It's not canceled, the buildings are closed.
Right, but I asked them in Parks and Rec, and there's the cost of play. You will probably be refunding the money. It will not happen.
Yeah, John told me they just can't find
But another point is, the reality is, this is going to increase
why we put an attachment to the board letter, you know, stating all of these things. But like you said, until you really look at that, well, it was John Damon who said latchkey. We didn't even have that on here. And John said, wait a minute, we won't be able to have latchkey in after school.
And you know, parents can do all they can do, but kids have a lot of energy, and if they're not put into something positive, they're gonna put in something negative. And I think we just need to put that out there as much as possible. Fine, you don't want that tax, and it's really not a tax, to be honest with you. I just have to say, it is a cost of living increase that we have not gotten since 2002. And I would just like to say, I don't know how we have maintained that excellent grade, and I just pray for that. I think you guys have done a very good job at a very tough time.
Appreciate that, so what our teachers do.
Yes, yes.
Maybe just as a segue into something else here is we actually have two school board candidates here tonight. We also have one comment, and that is a common school board candidate. Frank Bonacci and Geraldine Betty are running for school board. It might be interesting to hear your thoughts on what you see as the impact the not passing the levy would have. If you guys are agreeing, this is totally impromptu.